Hello, everyone. Today we're going to learn another 10 common idioms, phrases, and sentences that native English speakers use every single day. I'm so excited to share these with you because these expressions are the kind of things you'll hear all the time in movies, TV shows, and real conversations with Americans. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what these expressions mean and how to use them naturally in your own conversations. Here's how you can get the most out of this video. First, listen while reading the subtitles. This will help you catch every word and follow along more easily. Then, play the video again and try to repeat the sentences out loud, but this time without reading the subtitles. This will really help you improve your pronunciation, listening, and speaking skills. Don't forget to pause and write down any new idioms or phrases you like. That way, you can remember and review them later. This is a great way to boost your listening, reading, and speaking, all at the same time. This lesson is a fun and simple way to improve your English step by step. Before we dive in, if you're finding this helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe. It helps a ton, and I really appreciate your support. All right, let's get started with our first expression. Number 1, every dog has his day. This is such a beautiful and encouraging idiom. When we say every dog has his day, we mean that everyone will have their moment to shine, their time to be successful, or their chance to be important. It doesn't matter if you're not successful right now or if things aren't going well today. Your time will come. This expression comes from the idea that even the most ordinary dog, the one that nobody pays attention to, will eventually have a day when he's special or important. It's been used in English for hundreds of years, and it always makes people feel hopeful. Let me tell you a story about my friend Sarah. She worked at a small company for 5 years, and she always felt like her boss never noticed her hard work. Her coworkers got promotions, but she didn't. She felt invisible. But last month, the company needed someone to lead a big project, and guess what? They chose Sarah. She did an amazing job, and now she's the team leader. When she told me about it, I said, "Sarah, every dog has his day." She laughed and said it was finally her turn to shine. For example, if your friend is feeling sad because they didn't get the job they wanted, you could say, "Don't worry, every dog has his day. Your perfect job is coming soon." You might hear something like, "I know I'm not the best student in class right now, but every dog has his day and I'll prove myself." Here's another one. "My little brother always felt like he wasn't good at anything, but when he won the art contest, I told him, 'See, every dog has his day.'" This expression is perfect when you want to encourage someone or remind them that good things are coming. Have you ever felt like you were waiting for your moment? Let me know in the comments. Number 2, I'm a go-getter. This is a really cool way to describe yourself or someone else. When you say, "I'm a go-getter," you're saying that you're someone who works hard to achieve your goals. You don't sit around waiting for things to happen, you go out and make them happen. A go-getter is ambitious, determined, and proactive. This phrase is very American, and we use it all the time when we're talking about work, school, or personal goals. It's like saying, "I'm someone who goes after what I want and gets it." The word go means to move forward, and getter means someone who gets things. So a go-getter literally goes and gets what they want. I have a cousin named Mike who is the perfect example of a go-getter. When he was in college, he didn't just study for his classes. He also started a small business selling handmade jewelry online, joined 3 different clubs, and even learned Spanish in his free time. When people asked him how he did so much, he would say, "I'm just a go-getter. I see something I want and I go after it. Now he owns his own successful company. For example, if someone asks you about your personality in a job interview, you could say, I'm a go-getter who loves taking on new challenges. You might hear something like, Sarah got promoted because she's a real go-getter who never gives up. Let's take this one. I'm a go-getter, so when I decided to learn English, I practiced every single day until I got fluent. This is such a positive way to describe yourself. It shows that you're motivated and you don't wait for opportunities, you create them. Do you think you're a go-getter? Tell me in the comments what goals you're working toward. Number 3, I'm in the middle of something. This is probably one of the most useful expressions you'll ever learn. When you say, I'm in the middle of something, you're letting someone know that you're busy right now and can't talk or help them at this moment. It's a polite way to say, I'm busy, without being rude. We use this expression all the time in everyday life. Maybe someone calls you while you're cooking dinner, or your friend wants to chat while you're doing homework. Instead of saying, I'm busy, which can sound a little cold, you can say, I'm in the middle of something, which sounds much more friendly and natural. Here's a perfect example from my own life. Last week, I was writing an important email for work when my neighbor knocked on my door. She wanted to chat about the weather and ask about my weekend plans. I really like my neighbor, but I needed to finish my email. So I said, Hi, I'm so sorry, but I'm in the middle of something right now. Can we talk later this evening? She totally understood, and we had a nice chat after dinner instead. For example, if someone calls you while you're studying, you could say, Hey, I'm in the middle of something right now. Can I call you back in an hour? You might hear something like, Sorry, I can't help you move your furniture today. I'm in the middle of something important. Here's another one. I was in the middle of cooking dinner when my mom called, so I had to call her back later. This expression is so helpful because it's honest but not rude. It lets people know you care about them, but you just can't talk right now. Have you ever been in the middle of something important when someone interrupted you? Let me know in the comments. Number 4, I'm not in the mood. This is such a common and useful expression. When you say, I'm not in the mood, you're telling someone that you don't feel like doing something right now. It's not that you never want to do it. It's just that you don't feel like it at this moment. Your mood is how you feel emotionally, so if you're not in the mood, your feelings aren't right for that activity. We use this expression for all kinds of situations. Maybe your friends want to go to a party, but you're feeling tired. Maybe someone suggests watching a scary movie, but you want something funny instead. Maybe your family wants to go shopping, but you'd rather stay home. In all these cases, you can say, I'm not in the mood. I remember last Saturday, my friends wanted to go dancing at a club downtown. Normally, I love dancing, but I had a really long week at work and I just felt exhausted. I told them, I'm not in the mood to go dancing tonight. I think I just want to stay home and watch Netflix. They understood completely, and we made plans to go dancing the next weekend instead. For example, if your friend asks you to go for a run but you're feeling lazy, you could say, I'm not in the mood to exercise today. Maybe tomorrow. You might hear something like, I'm not in the mood for Italian food tonight. How about Chinese instead? Imagine this. My brother wanted to play video games, but I said, I'm not in the mood for games right now. I want to read my book. This expression is perfect because it's honest about your feelings without hurting anyone's feelings. It just means not right now, but maybe later. What's something you're not in the mood for today? Tell me in the comments. Number 5, time flies. This is one of my absolute favorite expressions because it's so true. When we say time flies, we mean that time passes very quickly, especially when you're having fun or when you're busy. It feels like time has wings and it's flying away from you. The full expression is actually, time flies when you're having fun, but we often just say time flies by itself. We use this when we're surprised by how fast time went by. Maybe you were talking with a friend and suddenly realized you'd been chatting for 3 hours. Maybe you started a new job and can't believe it's already been 6 months. Maybe you're watching a really good movie and suddenly it's over. This happens to me all the time. Just last month, I started learning how to play the guitar. I would practice for what felt like just a few minutes, but when I looked at the clock, 2 hours had passed. I couldn't believe it. I told my guitar teacher, "Time flies when I'm practicing. I thought it was only 20 minutes, but it's been 2 hours." She laughed and said that's how you know you really enjoy something. For example, if you're having a great conversation with someone, you might say, "Wow, time flies. We've been talking for 3 hours." You might hear something like, "I can't believe summer is already over." Time flies when you're having fun. People often say, "Time flies when you're busy at work. I started my shift this morning, and now it's already lunchtime." This expression is so relatable because everyone has experienced this feeling. Time really does seem to move faster when we're enjoying ourselves. Have you ever noticed that time flies when you're doing something you love? Which activity makes time fly for you? Let me know in the comments. Number 6. So muggy tonight. This is a perfect expression for describing uncomfortable hot weather. When we say it's muggy, we mean the air feels hot, humid, and sticky. It's that heavy, thick feeling in the air that makes you feel like you can't breathe properly. The word muggy is specifically for humid heat, not dry heat. We use this expression a lot during summer, especially in places like Florida, Louisiana, or anywhere with high humidity. When it's muggy, you feel sweaty and uncomfortable even when you're not doing anything active. Your clothes stick to your skin, and the air feels thick and heavy. It's different from regular hot weather because of all the moisture in the air. I'll never forget this one evening last July when I was visiting my aunt in Houston, Texas. We went outside to sit on her porch and have some iced tea, but the moment we stepped outside, we both felt this heavy, sticky air. My aunt immediately said, "Oh my goodness, it's so muggy tonight. Let's go back inside where there's air conditioning." We couldn't even enjoy sitting outside because the humidity was so uncomfortable. For example, if you walk outside and immediately feel that sticky, humid air, you might say, "Ugh, it's so muggy tonight. I can barely breathe." You might hear something like, "I don't want to go for a walk because it's too muggy outside." Here's another one. "It was so muggy last night that I couldn't sleep even with the fan on." This expression is super useful during summer months, especially if you live in a humid place. It's more specific than just saying hot because it describes that uncomfortable, sticky feeling. Do you live somewhere that gets muggy? How do you deal with muggy weather? Tell me in the comments. Number 7, let's make a memory. This is such a sweet and meaningful expression. When someone says, "Let's make a memory," they're suggesting that you do something special together that you'll remember for a long time. It's about creating a moment that will be important and beautiful to look back on later. We use this expression when we want to do something fun, meaningful, or special with someone we care about. It could be something big like taking a trip together, or something small like trying a new restaurant or taking photos in a pretty place. The important thing is that you're doing it together and you want to remember it. My grandmother used to say this to me all the time when I was little. One summer when I was visiting her, She woke me up early one morning and said, "Come on, sweetie. Let's make a memory today." She took me to pick strawberries at a local farm, and then we went home and made strawberry jam together. I'll never forget that day. Every time I eat strawberry jam now, I think of my grandmother and that special morning we spent together. For example, if you're with your friends and you see a beautiful sunset, you might say, "Let's make a memory. Let's take some photos together with this sunset." You might hear something like, "Instead of just staying home tonight, let's make a memory and go try that new ice cream place." Imagine this. My dad said, "Let's make a memory and go camping this weekend, just the two of us." This expression is beautiful because it shows that you understand life is about the special moments we share with people we love. It's about being present and creating something meaningful together. What's a favorite memory you've made with someone special? Let me know in the comments. Number 8, we're on strike. This is a really important expression to understand, especially if you want to understand American news and culture. When we say we're on strike, it means that workers have stopped working to protest something, usually because they want better pay, better working conditions, or other changes from their employer. A strike is when employees refuse to work until their demands are met. It's a way for workers to use their power as a group to negotiate with their bosses. During a strike, workers often stand outside their workplace holding signs and chanting. This is called picketing. Strikes are legal in the United States and are an important part of workers' rights. Last year, the teachers in my city went on strike because they wanted smaller class sizes and better supplies for their students. My friend Lisa is a teacher, and she explained to me why they were striking. She said, "We're on strike because we want what's best for our students, but we also need to be paid fairly for our work." The strike lasted for 2 weeks, and eventually the teachers and the school district reached an agreement. For example, if you see workers standing outside a factory with signs, someone might explain, "The factory workers are on strike because they want higher wages." You might hear something like, "The grocery store is closed today because the employees are on strike." People often say, "We're on strike until the company agrees to give us better health insurance." This expression is important for understanding American society and workers' rights. Even if you're not a worker yourself, you'll hear about strikes in the news and in daily conversation. Have you ever seen a strike in your country? What do you think about workers' rights? Let me know in the comments. Number 9. No more wishy-washy. This is such a fun expression. When we say no more wishy-washy, we mean no more being uncertain, indecisive, or unclear about what you want. A wishy-washy person changes their mind a lot and can't make firm decisions. They say things like maybe, I don't know, or whatever you want all the time. The word wishy-washy sounds silly, right? It's supposed to. It describes someone who goes back and forth like water sloshing around. When you say, no more wishy-washy, you're deciding to be more decisive and clear about what you want. You're going to stop changing your mind and start making firm decisions. My friend Tom used to be so wishy-washy about everything. When we tried to make plans, he would say things like, I don't know, maybe we could do this, or maybe that, or whatever you want. It was so frustrating. Finally, our friend group had a conversation with him, and he realized he needed to change. Now he says, no more wishy-washy, I'm going to make decisions and stick with them. He's much more confident now, and it's easier to make plans with him. For example, if you've been changing your mind about what to study in college, you might say, no more wishy-washy, I'm going to study business and that's final. You might hear something like, I used to be wishy-washy about my career, but now I know exactly what I want to do. Let's take this one. My mom said, "No more wishy-washy about dinner. We're having chicken tonight." This expression is great for encouraging yourself or others to be more decisive. Being wishy-washy can be frustrating for everyone involved, so it's good to recognize when you need to be more firm with your choices. Are you ever wishy-washy about decisions? What helps you be more decisive? Tell me in the comments. Number 10, don't judge me. This is probably one of the most relatable expressions ever. When we say, "don't judge me," we're asking someone not to form a negative opinion about us based on something we're about to do or say. We use this when we're about to share something that might seem weird, embarrassing, or unusual, and we want the other person to be understanding. We use this expression all the time in casual conversation, especially with friends and family. It's a way of saying, "I know this might seem strange, but please don't think badly of me." It's usually said in a playful or slightly embarrassed way, not in a serious way. I use this expression constantly. Just yesterday, I was talking to my best friend and I said, "Don't judge me, but I ate ice cream for breakfast this morning." She laughed and said, "I don't judge you at all. I had leftover pizza for breakfast last week." We both laughed because we've all done things like this. It's a way of admitting that you did something a little unusual while asking for understanding. For example, if you're about to order a really weird combination of food, you might say, "Don't judge me, but I want to try pineapple on my burger." You might hear something like, "Don't judge me, but I still sleep with my childhood teddy bear." Here's another one. "Don't judge me, but I've watched this movie 15 times and I still cry at the end." This expression is perfect because it creates a safe space for honesty. When someone says, "Don't judge me," they're being vulnerable and asking for acceptance. It usually makes conversations more fun and relaxed because everyone has done things they think others might find weird. What's something you would say, "Don't judge me" about? Let me know in the comments, and I promise I won't judge you. Wow, we've covered so many useful expressions today. Let's do a quick recap of what we learned. We talked about every dog has his day, which reminds us that everyone will have their moment to shine. We learned about being a go-getter, someone who actively pursues their goals. We practiced saying, "I'm in the middle of something" when we're busy, and "I'm not in the mood" when we don't feel like doing something. We discovered that time flies when we're having fun, and we learned to describe humid weather as muggy. We explored the beautiful idea of "let's make a memory" with people we care about, and we understood what it means when workers are on strike. We talked about being wishy-washy and how to be more decisive, and finally, we learned the relatable expression, "Don't judge me." These expressions are going to make your English sound so much more natural and native-like. The best part is that you'll start hearing them everywhere now that you know what they mean. Remember, the key to learning these expressions is to practice using them in real conversations. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Tomorrow I'll be back with 10 more common idioms, phrases, and sentences that will help you sound even more like a native English speaker. I create these videos every single day because I want to help you achieve your English learning goals. Which of these 10 expressions was your favorite today? Are there any that you think you'll start using right away? And remember, don't judge me, but I'm really excited to hear from you in the comments. You're doing such an amazing job with your English learning journey, and I'm so proud of how hard you're working. Take care and keep practicing your English. You're doing great, and I'll see you tomorrow for more fun English lessons.